What's up, credit repair experts? It's Jesse again here. Hope that everybody's doing well and late Merry Christmas. So I'm really excited to be talking to you guys today about the disputing process and the way that we do it at the credit repair experts. So we actually use the Metro 2 analysis method. Not a lot of people probably know too much about how it actually works. Um, but I'm going to loosely be talking about the actual process itself and not necessarily the technical information regarding it. So we're not really going to dive too much into e-Oscar and how that works or how to actually use the reportability to your benefit. We're just going to be talking about what you as a consumer what you need to do in order to get these items removed and the process of what that looks like. All right, so let's go ahead, let's dive right into it. So the first thing you need to do is get them to validate the debt. So why do we validate the debt? I get asked this all the time. So you want to validate the debt. And the reason that you do this is because you're setting up a trap. It's like whenever you go fishing, right? You can't fish without some bait, right? You need to bait them in. And baiting is exactly what you're doing whenever you get them to validate the debt. So whenever they validate the debt, they're telling you all the information that has been presented is true, accurate, it's correct, and it's been reported properly. Okay? And this is very important because later on, whenever you actually go to dispute the information, what you're going to find is the information is typically not correct. It's not been reported accurately, and it's typically not up to standards. So, why is this important? Well, because they validated the debt, then they're telling you that all the information is accurate. Whenever you come back later and you send them the next round of letters, you're going to be able to point out that the information is not accurate. So how can they sit there and tell you that the information is accurate whenever it's not actually accurate? So this is what you're going to be able to leverage in order to get them to actually remove the items. So the validation is just the beginning of the process of getting them to confirm that yes, this is valid. So later on, you can come back and show them how it's invalid. And because they've said that it was valid, now they have to remove it, right? Otherwise, you could just be like, hey, this information is not accurate. And they can come back and be like, oh, okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and update it. So that's what you don't want. So the next thing, you're going to be disputing. There are a couple of different ways that you can do the disputing process. So you've got indirect disputes and you've got direct disputes. You really want to do both. So let's talk a little bit about what each of those are. So an indirect dispute. An indirect dispute is whenever you're disputing via the credit bureaus, okay? And whenever you're doing an indirect dispute, you're basically you're contesting the information that the data furnishers provide. So every single month, the data furnishers send a report to the credit bureaus, and they're basically letting them know, hey, this person owes us such and such money from such and such date at this amount. They're just providing basic information, and these people are typically banks, credit unions, financial service providers, mortgage lenders, auto lenders, even student loans and debt collectors, right? So they're providing them with this information in the hopes of impacting their score so that you'll reach out to them and you'll pay them. Okay? So what can you do about this? All right. So what you do, first of all, is you can challenge the information by sending in a dispute letter. Uh, what you'll do is you'll write them a dispute letter and you'll tell them the reasons that you believe that the information is not accurate, right? So they have to either verify this information or they have to refute it. So those are the only two choices that they have. They have to conduct an investigation. So at the end of the investigation, they'll either say, yes, we have looked into this and we have decided that all the information is being reported accurately. We've reached out to the original creditor, the alleged original creditor, and they've confirmed all the information that we have, so everything is being reported accurately, and they'll tell you that the debt is verified. Or they'll tell you that the information is inaccurate, in which case they'll typically delete it, but if they don't delete the information, then you can send in a request for them to delete the information. But assuming that they don't delete the information, then the information on your profile will be updated, and it's gonna reflect that you disputed it, and they're gonna send you copies of the actual dispute. So you'll continue to go ahead and send a round after round of disputes after this, but let's just go ahead and move on to the next section, which is the direct disputing, and you'll be doing this through the alleged original creditor. And then we'll go back and we'll touch on why we'll continue to send letters. So with direct disputing, first of all, there is a rule whenever you do direct disputing, and that is that you really want to try to send anything to these creditors, and first of all, in mail. Never ever dispute online or over the phone, because you waive your consumer rights. It's very important not to do this. But secondly, you really, really want to try to dispute to the original creditor, demanding that anything that is inaccurate be deleted off of your account. The reason that you do this is because if it is proved, which you can prove, that the information is not accurate, then instead of them updating it, again, they have to delete it, right? So they can only do that after validating the debt. So that brings me to the next point. Always send proof to back up any claim. So if you're saying that the debt is not valid after they've validated the debt, then you must explain to them why the debt is not valid. So always send proof along with your accusation. That way you can skip a step, because they do have about 45 days right now that they can take to be able to respond to you. So, instead of waiting that 45 days, you're going to be able to save yourself a lot of time. So the next part is know that they know their rules of operation. What I mean by know their rules of operation is know how they have to conduct themselves. So know that, first of all, they have to be given a reasonable amount of time to be able to conduct the investigation, and know that they have to look up the relevant information that's been provided, and that they have to report on the results. Okay? So after those three things happen, then you get to notify each credit reporting agency and let them know that your report, or that this information is being contested. And what will happen is, after the end of the investigation, the information will be updated for each and every one of the credit bureaus. So say the item gets deleted. The items, once they're deleted from the creditor's end, should be updated on the bureau side. Now, this doesn't always happen, and it is good to do the dispute on both sides, because many times they won't take the extra due diligence to update the information for you. So don't think that just because it's deleted and because they're supposed to update the information, that it will actually come off. The last part of disputing the information directly is, if you continue to go back and forth with them and you're not really making any headway or any progress, then don't worry, don't get disheartened. There's still something that you can do. So what you're going to do after that is you're going to create a Cfpb complaint. Now, the Cfpb is a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they're basically just there to be able to protect your rights as a consumer, which you have a lot of. You just typically don't know how to leverage them. And so the Cfpb is going to help you leverage them by making sure that the credit bureaus and these alleged creditors are in compliance with what they're supposed to be doing. So if you've continued to go back and forth for a while and you're showing them, hey, this debt doesn't belong to me, and they're saying, oh, but it does, don't worry, just create a Cfpb complaint, send them documentation of everything that you've done so far, and get them to remove it on their own end, because let's face it, the credit bureaus, They make money by providing your information to other people, and then those other people make money by calling you and collect on that information. So it's really not in their best interest to delete your information. The alleged creditors don't want to delete your information because you owe them money, right? You forgot to pay your credit card, or you couldn't at the time, or a mortgage, or something of that nature, and then it got sold to collections, and now they want their money. Fortunately, you have this disputing process though, and they don't legally do what they're supposed to do, so we're able to actually get these items removed. So after you created your CFPB complaint, you're going to have to wait for them to respond, and they're going to tell you after their research was conducted that either they are acting accordingly or they are not acting accordingly. And you'll be able to then take this information and you'll be able to do the last part of the process, right? So you've done your direct disputing and you've done your indirect disputing. You haven't really been able to get anywhere with it. You contacted the CFPB. They've come back and they've said that they weren't able to actually help you. What do you do now? Okay, this is where most people get stuck. And the answer is actually really simple. What you do is you take all the paperwork that you've done so far and you sit down, do a little bit of homework about going through 15 US Code, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and you'll go through a few other consumer laws, and you'll tick every single time that you've been violated, your consumer rights have been violated. You'll tick every single time, and every single one of those, that's going to have a monetary value attached to it. And you're going to create a receipt of damages, right? And with this receipt of damages, you'll be able to take it to a small claims court, and you'll be able to file in small claims court. And whenever you file in small claims court, then they're going to have to hire an attorney. The attorney is going to have to fly out to you, and you're going to be able to put down this packet of paperwork that shows that you've done your due diligence to be able to get these items removed. However, you've had no success so far in exercising your consumer rights, and now you're standing in front of a judge because there's nothing else that you could possibly do to get these items removed, and they are in clear violation of your rights, which you have the paperwork to prove and demonstrate. So if there are still any negative items remaining on your account, file a small claims court, talk to a judge, show them your paperwork. It says right in 15 US Code that there are not enough laws to actually be able to properly protect you against debt collectors. So, knowing that it should be pretty common knowledge that your rights are being violated, and you can easily prove that to a judge. So there you have it. Really, that's the whole process. So just to go over it one last time, it starts out with validating the debt. The next thing that you do is you send out your first round of dispute letters, and then you can send out a few more rounds of dispute letters. Really, I wouldn't say that there's any hard limit to how many dispute letters you should send. However, keep in mind that they have about 45 days to be able to respond to you between letters. So you don't really want it to drag on, especially if you're sending certified mail, because that costs money, right? So always try to back up everything that you say with proof. Do your disputing through the creditors via direct disputing, and then indirect disputing via the credit bureaus. And finally, if you're not able to get any results, you file a complaint with the CFPB so that they can intermediate for you. And lastly, if you have no results doing that, you'll have to file a small claims court to sue the creditor and or credit bureaus, typically just the creditor, and that's it. You got it. You should be able to get any items removed at that point, and who knows? You could make some money from actually suing them in a small claims court. So, hey, it's a win for you, even though it might not feel like it and take an extremely long time, and it damages your ability to be able to perform commerce. It prevents you from being able to get loans. It prevents you from being able to get better credit cards and being able to, in general, just up your position in life. So that's pretty much it for the entire disputing process. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments section down below. Also, if you guys want to do any of this process yourself, we do have a credit repair kit that you can get down below. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't done so already. And if you guys want to talk to a credit repair expert, then feel free to reach out to us. We're available pretty much any time of the day, and we're always happy to talk to you guys. So have a wonderful day. Again, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have an awesome New Year's. We'll see you in the next video.